Now we have 11 people waiting in the room. Shall I start admitting them? Because there is 1 minute left.
Yeah, Goran, please, can you also press the record button to make sure that in case something goes wrong with Damlas or...
Just to inform you.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'll ask you from the beginning one favor. Can you please turn off your cameras and your microphones to avoid noise and slowing down the entire system? Then if everybody has been accepted, then we can get started. Okay, so welcome. I'm really happy to welcome you all here in this webinar called Research Libraries, Researchers and the EOSC, How Do They Interact? This webinar is the first one in the list of series of 5 webinars which are held all over Europe. So we are the pioneers here today. My name is Liisi Lempinen. I'm not from South Europe. I'm from Estonia, so very far from the north. And I will be moderating this session today. So I want to stress that this is an interactive sessions. At first, we will start with the presentations, but later on, you are all expected to participate very, very actively. So here are some housekeeping rules. So both the workshop and the breakout out rooms or the sessions will be recorded, and the recording will be used for internal purposes only. So we will not put this out anywhere in the internet. As I asked you already, please turn off your cameras and your microphones at the first part of the session. As soon as you are going to the breakout rooms, please turn your cameras and microphones on, because this is the time that we expect you to actively be involved. And as again, I stress, please join in the conversation in the breakout sessions. If you have any questions during the presentations, please put them in a chat and we can ask them after the presentations or maybe take them to the breakout rooms together. So I'm the moderator of this session, but I also have Michaela here who's taking the notes. So she's a rapporteur of this session, and she will be also coming to the breakout rooms. A little bit about the aim of the project and why we are here today. So a scientific knowledge services partnered for this project with LIBER to create a series of reports which will inform the EOSC about what the research libraries would offer and expect from EOSC. So as you can see, your input is vital here today. So this project has 5 aims. So you can see the aims on the screen. 5 interactive workshops, as I already mentioned. There will be an outline the value of EOSC for researchers and research libraries. We determine the input needed from them or from us then as a key stakeholders and develop the how and what for their activities involvement in EOSC and illustrate the feedback mechanism to continuously inform EOSC. As I mentioned before, we have, 3 presentations, but 4 presenters today. We have Eva Mendes, who's a lecturer in Universidad Carlos de Madrid in Libraries and Information Science Department. We have Biljana Kosanovic from University of Belgrade Computer Center and Milica Šefčužić, Institute of Technical Sciences of the Serbian Academy of Sciences and Art, and Pedro Principe, head of Division of University of Minya Documentation and Library Services. And here you can see the agenda. All the presentations will be about 10 minutes long. 1 minute before the end of the presentation, I will remind the presenters to start wrapping up. Then you will have a chance to maybe ask 1 or 2 questions. And then you all will be divided into 3 breakout sessions. Now, in the breakout sessions, all the presenters will be the facilitators of these breakout sessions, but I encourage somebody from each of these breakout groups to volunteer to take notes, and then later on, after we come back from the breakout sessions, to present this to all the other participants. So again, I expect the very active involvement from you. And then we'll do the conclusions and final remarks, and by 4:15 we are done with the workshop. And hopefully we are smarter and we have managed to gain all your ideas and put them down. So thank you very much. And do you have any questions? Also, here's a Twitter hashtag. So please, if you can, share your thoughts. And I will stop sharing my screen now. And I'll ask our first presenter, Eva, to share her screen.
Okay, let's start sharing microphone, then the camera, and then the screen. That's how it works. So let me see if I have the right screen. Here we are. I have done this before and it worked. So
okay, until Eva is sharing the screen, I'll tell a couple of words about Eva. So as I said, she's a lecturer in University Carlos de Madrid in Libraries and Information Sciences Department. Eva is an expert in metadata. She has been a lecturer in the mentioned university since 1997. She has also been an active member of several international research team, advisory boards, and communities like OpenEAR, Metadata 2020, RDA. In November 2017, she was named as an Open Data Champion by Spark Europe. And she has won various awards for her activities and has participated in various high-level projects. Her presentation today is titled, as you can see, EOSC and the Challenge of the Interdisciplinary Research. So Eva, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for your kind words and presentation. Well, actually, when I prepared this 10-minute presentation about EOSC, when you can talk about EOSC for years and you have different perspectives with different hats and different approaches, I try to just focus on something that I'm really engaged now with the EOSC, which is the Fair is Fair project, what we are doing in metadata there. And also because I think metadata is something that happened to be an issue at a business of libraries for years and years. So I think which is something that we can focus and we will not lose the time on asking questions about how to measure the services of EOSC or how to do the governance, that there are things that, of course, the libraries can be engage with, but it's not our main business. So I want to focus on how is the challenge that I see. For me, is the biggest challenge of EOSC, which is making the research an interoperable approach. And the interoperability research comes with the discoverability, not with the findability. Because the discoverability means that you find something by chance. To make things findable, you have to know that the things are there, and you have to describe in a basis that you can find them. That the discoverability is the serendipity among disciplines or across disciplines. So for me, I have been mentioned many times. I remember when I participated as a keynote in the EOSC launch in November 2018. I define the EOSC sometimes like a giant with clay feet. And I think a way to make this giant with a strong foundation and with a strong feet is to make it based on a very clear base of standards and a very clear approach from the libraries to address metadata in the same page. This is for me the scientific landscape of the European Open Science Cloud, as Jean-Claude Rouleman described it at the very beginning, but I have been evolving this slide for years now. And this is the three layers that I see that EOSC has. One is the data layer, another one is the service layer, and the other one is the governance layer. Nowadays, the most fashion one, or the one that is more in the news, is the governance, because it's just describing now the association of EOSC, and it's a lot of work on the governance and the governance board and the executive board, etc. The other one is the layer of the services, which is where high-performing computing happen, where all these data analytics and all these services that your value on top of the data happen to be. But this is our layer, guys. This is the layer where the libraries are. And this is particularly how I see university libraries. Because it could be that one of your universities deals with a great data-driven topic. For example, if you are in physics, or if you're working with life sciences or earth sciences, or even economic or bank or financial data, that sometimes they are big data too. But the most common situation is that the libraries, we are dealing with the long tail of science. And the long tail of science is first, long tail. And second is multidisciplinarity. Because you came up with in the library of a university, you have to deal with the data from people from different departments, from different research teams. You are not managing a huge infrastructure with the data from one discipline that you can say, well, astrophysics, we can apply the metadata of the astrophysics. We can focus on the needs of these people. No, in the libraries, we have to focus in the needs of every discipline. And this is a real challenge. And when we look at the FAIR principles, I have always this joke with Baron Mons that I said to him that for me, the FAIR principles are 80% metadata and 20% persistent identifiers. If you want, we can negotiate the percentage, but it's true that the metadata is a key issue. And the metadata is something that the libraries have been dealing with for the last years and years and centuries, and particularly in the context of the repositories. The point is, in the context of the repositories, the publications, they are more homogeneous in terms of the descriptive approach, but the data are super heterogeneous. So we have been addressing this challenge in the context of FAIR is Fair, and also what we are really addressing is the problem that the metadata are like toothbrushes. Everybody wants to use one, but everybody wants to use their own. It's something that we wouldn't want to use the others. So this is the problem, and this is what we are really working on the solution. And the challenges for the metadata in the context of the European Open Science Cloud is how to provide good metadata, how to avoid this, I want to use my own standard, how to promote the interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary research, I'm not going to go deep in the discussion what is multidisciplinarity, interdisciplinarity, and cross-disciplinarity, because this is an interesting discussion from the scientific point of view. But it's something that we have to promote research among disciplines. That's it. And also we have to make metadata quality, not only at the topic of the metadata format, but also at the vocabularies that we are starting calling them in the context of EOSC, semantic artifacts. I don't like very much the expression semantic artifacts, but it's the vocabularies that they are based on the semantics and the ontological point of view for the discipline. And also we have to create cool metadata. As Tim Berners-Lee said, we have to create cool URLs. And in these challenges, what we are trying to do in Paris Fair is approaching the big projects, the 5 clusters of the European Open Science Cloud that they are funded project, and they represent 5 big domains. But also we are putting on board, and this is very good news, because it's not public yet, but OpenAIRE is going to join us in the pilot. Pedro can talk about this too, and it's fantastic because OpenAIRE has the experience of the little libraries, of the university libraries, working for years and years on metadata, and they are having a lot of data from all these domains, even if they don't have a proper infrastructure, even if they don't have a specific S3 to deal with the data in a vertical domain. So this is what I call, we are creating the metadata layer to make integration of metadata catalogs among different disciplines for a better, fair uptake, and not findable only and interoperable, but also discoverable. So this is our model, our perspective, which is addressing these 5 big domains, and also try to use P2Find, as you know, that is a service on the EUDAT. And also we are going to test 2 metadata, what we call agnostic metadata standards. That means that they are not intended to describe specifically photon and neutron social science or environmental information. They are not intended to describe anything. And also the DCAT application profile is the standard that is used in open data for the public sector information.
Eva, 1 minute.
Thank you. This is my last slide, so perfectly on time. And also we want to address what is the challenge of open data in the public sector domain. So this is our approach of integration. This is fair is fair. And this is my context and my contact ways. So I'm very happy to take a question if there is time, Lizzie. If not, we can just go to the discussion. Thank you so much.
I do not see any questions in the chat at the moment. So thank you, Eva. It was wonderful. And hopefully you can continue this discussion later on. So next I'm asking Biljana and Milica to come on the table or on the board. So Biljana is from the University of Belgrade Computer Center, and Milica is from the Institute of Technical Sciences of the Serbian Academy of Sciences and Arts. Biljana is an information specialist and she's interested in and focused on open science policy and implementation. She's also an OpenAIRE national coordinator for Serbia since 2014. Milica is a librarian, and her professional interests focus on open science, library services aimed at supporting research activities, training on academic services and tools, information literacy, and research ethics. So Biljana and Milica, please.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Lizzie. Okay, the title of our presentation does not look so promising, but it is, we put this title in order to boost the discussion which we would like to have during the breakout session. But before the discussion, just to see how this, okay. What is the current situation in this part of the world, and which part of the world it is? Most of these results, especially for my part of the presentation, are coming from the NIFOS project. NIFOS project is one of the EOSC 5B projects, and as every project does, we made a survey. It was happened almost a year and a half from now, and we ask the people how they are familiar with EOSC and how they are familiar with the fair. So we send our survey, ask more than 2,000 people, but around 600 of people, all kind of people, funders, researchers, supporter, open science facilitators, but also librarians to answer these questions. So 73 librarians responded to the survey. And for me, it is quite interesting that librarians does not think that they are only supporter of the science, but they are also think about themselves, they are creator, consumer, and supporter. None of them responded they are funder, which means librarians does not have enough funds to fund the science, but this is something which we know. So, and the situation is not so nice, but looks promisable. They are much more familiar if we are thinking about level of very familiar with the EOSC much more than with the fair. And this is where we found some places to improve and to make librarians important again. So, and, okay, now, up. I would like to go to another slide. Okay, okay. So, and the fact is that research librarians are one of the very, very important, I put this key in the brackets, stakeholder in the process of adopting open science. In this part of the world, the librarians was the one who introduced almost everything when the open access was the only part and actions within open science. And I think in this part of the world, the librarians were the one who initiated all these kind of policy implementation and that kind of things. But now when the things start improving, especially when this moving to the data and all these actions about data, about research data management plans, research data management, etc., I think there is a huge space for librarians to become important, more important. And I think that, let's say, every 3 decades came the place and the time where librarians could bring their roles and make them important again. So, and in the open questions of our survey, when we ask them, what do you expect from EOSC? And one sentence is, looks that express the overall picture, to provide information about potentially useful tools and services we currently don't know about. That means that the librarians need some more education. And this is something we will discuss during the breakout rooms, not just only during the, let's say, this continuous education, but also to improve the curriculum on the library and information science faculties. And when we ask what additional services would benefit the most to the users, to their end users, the majority of them put that this is a publishing platforms, which means the librarians, research librarians recognize that there are some space also in the to boost and to help their research institutes in the publishing process. Of course, the repository software, but I think that there are quite a lot of repositories, but not implemented everywhere in the proper way. But the biggest wish of them are these DMP tools. So we will for sure help librarians, and I think that today it is a chance, not today, but this time is the good time for them to make them important again. And the rest of the presentation will take by Milica, much more oriented to Serbia. So Milica?
So we will now focus. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's okay.
We will now focus on a local landscape, national landscapes in Serbia, because we are conducting a project, an EOS co-creation project, boosting readiness for open science, for research data management. Research data management has been recognized by us as a topic that is very important at the moment, because our national research funder started addressing this issue through calls for projects. So this is something that is quite urgent for us, quite an urgent topic to deal with. So we conducted, within this project that I mentioned, we conducted a survey in October among research librarians and academic librarians. These are librarians that are associated with research activities in Serbia. We invited about 200 librarians, and there are not many more than that in Serbia. We collected 74 complete responses. There were about 50 responses that were incomplete. Practically, people just gave up the idea of completing which says something to us. So we wanted to check whether the librarians were familiar with the concept of research data management, whether they have already taken some training, and whether they would like to take the training. This was the most important, because we will start training in less than a month within this project. Next slide, please. So this is briefly the landscape in Serbia at the moment. More than 60% said that they were familiar with research data management, which is not a very reliable information, because there were some other responses to some other questions in the survey which indicated that they're actually not, that this percentage is not so good. It is, well, considerably smaller. And the most important for us was that both those who were familiar with research data management and those who were not familiar were very interested to attend trainings. This is what we wanted to know. And there were also some very interesting responses, considering their perception of their own skills, because although many of them didn't attend any trainings related to research data management, they were not aware of the concept of research data management. They said they consider themselves fully or partially capable of dealing with research data management topics, which is a bit strange, and we will have to address this issue.
1 minute.
Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I will say, before we see the next slide, one of the greatest problem is a very unfavorable age structure of the librarians. In our sample, 65 of them were older than 40, and this is about this in Serbia. This is the situation. They don't receive adequate training. The curriculum at the university is quite outdated. It should be addressed. And their research communities don't push them to adopt new skills. This is also a major problem. Also, we lack the support from university libraries. They're quite passive. They've been quite passive so far. So these are the things that we will have to address. I didn't suggest any solutions. We will discuss the solutions in the breakout, during the breakout session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know that Emma asked me if there are questions, so there is hopefully at least one question from Emma. Emma, do you want to ask the question in person?
Yes, thank you. I was writing in the chat, but I can
make it quicker then.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I this is just a comment. How do you see, this is for Biljana and Milica, how do you see the role of data stewardship within the libraries? Because usually what we are saying is that data stewards are people with a specific PhD in a specific field. So how do you think this role of data stewardship can be supported by librarians? What is the difference, and how do you see them working together? Thank you.
So what data stewards know and we librarians don't know is discipline specific. This is the discipline specific knowledge. For example, we know how to direct researchers towards choosing the right repository. We can give some quite general suggestions how to deal with their data, but we lack discipline specific knowledge. And this is where data stewards are very important. Also, data management skills, dealing with data, data processing is something that we don't actually know. So it's very important. I think that the idea of professionalizing data stewardship, of introducing data stewards in each organization is a very good idea. We're quite far from this in my country and in some similar countries, but I believe that we should follow this direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Milica and Biljana and Emma for the question. So before we go to Pedro, I have to correct myself. I said that this recording is not shared. It may be shared, so please be prepared for that. So our last presenter before we are going to the breakout groups is Pedro Principe. He's the head of the division at the University of Minya, Documentation and Library Services. I think basically everybody in Europe already knows Pedro. He has been actively involved in most of the open science projects like OpenAIRE, FairSphere, Foster Plus, and many others. He has also participated in several FP7 projects, also been involved in core working group of repository and interoperability. And he was also a member of EOSC working group in 2019 and 20. And here is Pedro's presentation. Thank you.
Many thanks, and many thanks for the invitations, and also congratulations for the organizations of this series of workshops that I think are quite important to establish a more organized participation in the research and academic libraries in the development of EOSC. I think this is quite important. My views are based on the on my participation in several projects, but also based on my participation in some of the developments of the open access, open science infrastructures in policies in Portugal, and also my active participation sharing a working group of academic librarians in Portugal. So I will try to give to highlight three main roles of research and academic libraries in EOSC, based on this experience of these different levels of experience. And we can highlight lots of components, lots of topics within this discussion about the role of research libraries in EOSC, but I will focus on three aspects that I think they are quite important. Libraries can be important content providers of EOSC and also service providers, enabling open access, open data practices, contributing to the training, contributing to the dissemination and facilitating the access to tools and services. For sure, we are starting to build EOSC based on the on a federation of existing resources. So libraries have all these resources and are important here in this area. But then I think another aspect is that I think is quite critical on the development of EOSC is the way that libraries can also actively participate in national developments, in the national infrastructures that are taking part of EOSC, on implementation plans at the national EOSC, at the national level of EOSC, aligning policies, synchronizing services and infrastructures. So now in the coming minutes, I will try to highlight each of these three aspects that I want to highlight in terms of the role of libraries, and there is just a statement that is in my abstract of this presentation, that I really believe that libraries are key, and we should do our best to make it to make ourselves a key player in the development of EOSC, because we can contribute to improve skills, contribute with training, we can facilitate and offer trusted tools and services, building synergies with others. We can ensure that the long tail data is a part, a substantial part of the data, of the content that we have available in EOSC. And then it's important to synchronize and align policies. But let's focus on the first pillar, or the first aspect that I want to highlight. Libraries as content providers, and we know which type of content we are talking about. We are quite well experienced on managing publication repositories, even in some cases data archives. So we are important here to ensure the open aspect of EOSC. We all hear a lot about EOSC, and in several discussions and presentations about EOSC, I see that we forgot a lot open, the O part of EOSC, and I think libraries are here to ensure the O of the EOSC, and via all our work on institutional and thematic repositories, on data archives, but also all the work that we need to do to ensure the access to other kinds of projects. I think this is important. For each topic, I want to highlight some challenges, and to have an important role on developing the EOSC on this part of the content providers. I think we can already do that, but I think we need to focus more and more. We all know interoperability, metadata have already highlighted that, but I think we should always focus more and more on interoperability, on the different components of the interoperability, PIDs, metadata, etc. Then do not forget that we have also a role on ensuring access to research software. This is not only the job of others, not only the job of research communities or some specific players. We also have a role here. Not everyone, not all research libraries, but we have an important role here. And then also to ensure access to other kinds of research outputs. So not only the publications that we are quite well experienced, but we have a role here, and this is quite important in EOSC. Then the other aspect about ourselves being an important service provider, we can facilitate access to different tools and to different services that some of us are managing, but there is a specific service that we should focus on, is the training. We need to be an important training service provider in EOSC. Some libraries by themselves, some others maybe organize it at the national level, or in some cases at a network, a regional network level. All the programs, all the materials, all the resources that we are developing in our literacy programs and different open science training activities, I think we are quite well experienced, and we have a role here to become important training service providers. And I believe a lot on the role that we can play here in this specific service. It's important to establish some kind of rules of participation to the way that we are delivering and building this network of support and training services within EOSC, but I think we have a role, and we should, and one of the challenges is that we should benefit from the trainers activities that for sure some EOSC projects will deliver. So we have a possibility here to engage in these different activities. And then also, I think we need to be active, and these workshops are important for that, to contribute with some requirements for the training catalogs and the training platforms that will be developed in the coming year or in the coming years to develop training within EOSC. And the last aspect is the national infrastructures. Libraries are quite active on participating in the development of open science infrastructures, on research infrastructures at the national level, playing an important role in contributing to roadmaps. So here, this is quite important. So different countries are also developing EOSC implementation plans or EOSC roadmaps at the national level, and we need to be active there. Our networks of libraries at the national level, via LIBER, via different forum. I think we need to be active here, and we need to build synergies with others in order to become more active and preeminent on the development of these roadmaps. These national infrastructures will be a key part of the EOSC, and I really believe that libraries have an important role here. So we have lots of challenges. In the previous presentation, we saw that not all librarians are aware of the FAIR data issues, so we should focus on FAIR data certifications and certification of repositories and services, and I think this is important. This is a big challenge. The FAIR issue is a big challenge within the development of EOSC. To finalize my presentation, 3 words from a sentence that we have in the FAIR working group of EOSC, in this report that you can access. Inclusiveness is key in the development of EOSC, and I really believe that libraries can ensure this inclusiveness. Then EOSC and the FAIR data is a journey, and libraries were quite active in the open access journey. Now I believe that they can be quite active and relevant in the FAIR journey, and for all of us to benefit from, to get the maximum benefit from EOSC. I think this is our job. There are lots of other aspects and components that we can highlight, but I just want to focus on these 3. Thank you all.
Thank you, Pedro. I see there's a question. I'm assuming it's one question, so I'll read it out. Can you share experience with digitalization of hard copy sources, and do you participate in the process of student digital logbooks? I think that's to you, Pedro.
Yes, let me check. Let me see if I understood the question. Can you share experience on digitalization of hard copies resources? I can share experiences, but I'm not sure if this is the right moment to do it. But I think hard copies resources. For sure, we all have important tools like the repositories where we have this kind of resources. And this will be resources also important to have it available within a federation of resources in EOSC. I don't have experience. I must confess that I don't have. Do you participate in the process of students' digital logbooks? No. For sure, there are other people here that maybe have already this experience, and you can share, but I don't have experience and I don't know.
Thank you. So I suggest maybe Lydia, you can take that one into your group, and maybe people there can answer this question. So thank you very much for everybody for the presentations, and now we are ready to be active. So all of you will be divided into 3 groups. And then it's a time to open your microphone and your camera and be active. All the presenters will be facilitating the groups. However, I'm asking somebody to volunteer to take notes and then later present it when we come back to the main group. So please, technical people, can you do your magic now and divide us into groups?
Hello.
Hello, I'm assigning manually. That's why it takes a little bit time. I just need a little bit patience from you. Thank you very much.
Тихо, тихо, тихо.
Hello, everybody. I have assigned you. I am wondering whether you are there or not.
Yes, Dalma, I'm Cosmin. I have a particular and I can't participate in the group right now.
You just don't prefer to participate. That's why you are here, right?
No, I'm currently involved in a text. I'm listening to the presentation, but I can't participate live on the group chat.
Oh,
Sorry for the inconvenience.
it's okay. I'm sorry for the inconvenience too. Because I have seen that you are not able to join, but I don't know how should I solve it.
No, I've deferred to later on
Okay.
the conversation over there. I'm in another project going on.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
very
sorry.
attentive to the event, but I can't participate on the end. That is the situation.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Damla. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Damla.
Yes, hello.
Hello. Can you put me in some other room? I was in Saturn. Can you put me
Sure, I will put you now Neptune. Eva
Okay.
Mendes there.
Thank you.
I need to find you, sorry. Yes, I find you.
Hey, Damla, I'm back again.
Hello, Lisi.
So we had planned 40 minutes for the breakout sessions, right?
Yes.
I looked at we finished, or Bedros finished like 15 minutes after, right?
Like on the plan, it says that the breakout rooms will finish around 3:45.
Yes, but since we were maybe like about let's say 10 minutes late, so then we should
Yes.
be coming in the latest at 55, right?
Yes, right.
Because I saw that Ignacio was saying, oh, we have until 4:05, but we don't have until 4:05. We have to come back earlier, right?
4:05 for yes, because after we need to discuss the results of the breakout session, and it is about the 20 minutes the discussion of
exactly. So if we come in 55, then we'll have let's say 15-16 minutes, and I'll wrap it up really quickly then, because I think my point of view is not important then compared to what they are saying. And the reason also I asked is that in Pedro's group, the person that they chose to be the volunteer, she needs to leave exactly at 4. So if we come back in 55, I would give her the word first so that she can go in the first 5 minutes, and then we can.
Okay.
But how do we let them know? So do you go to each group? Like in Eva's group already, I said that, okay, you need to finish at 3:55. So should we say that to everybody that, I should pop in everybody's group and mention that one? Or how do we let them know that they need to start wrapping up? Because they were all in the first question still.
Yes, I think they have around 15 minutes. No, yes, 15 minutes. Maybe you can go to every room and say that like last 15 minutes, and then we will start wrapping up quickly. And maybe you can inform that you will start with the Pedro's group, that lady, because she's in hurry.
I told that one already before I left that group. So I let them know that I will let Emma go first, but then, just let them know that they know what time they need to finish,
Yes. But actually, I think maybe because Tiberius is in the Eva's room and Athena is in the first room. Also, I think Julia knows how long the breakout sessions, the tech assistants could let them know. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Can they let them know somehow? I don't know how the Zoom breakout rooms work. I've never seen that one, but like in some other places that actually, so like I think it's big blue button, it shows in the corner how much time you have left.
Oh, actually, when we are setting the breakout rooms, we didn't set a time. Okay. And when they click there, leave the breakout rooms, they are returning to the this main room, but I can finish the breakout rooms for the whole groups as well.
Yes. Okay, but it would be nice to let them know in advance.
Yes, exactly. It will be very rude to just finish and everybody see they are here.
Okay, so can somebody else do it, or do you want me to do that?
It would be very nice of you if you can do that, but if you don't prefer, I can.
No, I can do that, but it's just you need to put me back in these rooms then. So I wrote that one in Neptune room. I was in Saturn, and maybe you can put me in the third room first.
You need to go to Jupiter.
Yeah.
Okay, I am assigning you. Hello. Hello.
Okay, Tamla, I'm
Hello.
back.
Yes.
Hello. So I let them know they were, they moved on to the third question now. So Jupiter is on the track.
Great. Would you like to move some other room?
I think I can go back to Saturn, Petra's room where I started, and let them know too that they have about 7 minutes now left.
Okay.
They can start wrapping up. See
Great.
how
Okay.
far they are.
moving.
Okay, I'm back again. They are doing great in Saturn. I think they were on the 4th question already, so they are ready to
Great.
wrap up. So I'm most worried about the Neptune.
Neptune, the last one, right?
That's the EVAS group.
Yes, Eva's room. I have checked their Jamboards, was very crowded.
Okay, that's good. Because I cannot see the Jamboard.
Yeah. Oh, I can send you the links.
Yeah, so I don't know, but the links were shared, but I didn't see the links. So
I
maybe
will
it was because I was moving or something.
send you the links now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we have 3 minutes then.
Yes.
Okay, my time is 55. Do you think we can get them back?
Yes. They should start to join now.
Okay.
Thank you very much for helping, by the way, informing them. Should I close all rooms or should I wait them to join? You are unmuted You need to unmute yourself.
Sorry, I'm not sure if they will. Okay, Irina is coming back, so I don't know if she's coming all by herself. Hello, Irina. Do you know?
Hello. Yeah, we ask
Oh,
people to click leave breakout room.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
We are here. We are ready.
Few of you are here. We're still waiting for the other ones.
Okay, stop my camera.
I'm here, yes.
Yes, Emma, you're going to be first. As soon as everybody else is back, I'll give you the word first. Tamla, is it possible just to cut them off? Kick them all out?
I send message to tech assistants. So they must be here soon.
I'm here, yes.
I will join to the rooms and inform them.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back.
It was a live conversation in our breakout session, so we couldn't come back earlier here.
I see everybody's coming back now. Welcome back. I hope you all had fun. I'm looking at your Jamboards and you've been very active, so that's good.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so what we will do now is each of these groups will have about 5 minutes, maybe 4.5, and you can wrap up. So you have 4 questions, so maybe you can bring out the main points of each of these 4 questions. And I will start with the Saturn. I think it was Pedra's group, and I believe Emma was the volunteer there.
Yep. So I'm
Emma?
sharing. Shall I share my screen, or do you just want me to discuss?
I don't know if you can she share the screen?
Yeah, I think so. Should be able now to see my screen.
Thank you.
With the board, yes. So welcome back, everyone. We had a very nice discussion. We started in understanding what is the value of EOSC for researchers and research libraries. So the first thing that came out is that EOSC is quite complex and for the moment is still a bit confusing. So one of the main thing that came out is that EOSC can help in solving some problems that are not easy to be solved at local level, but indeed need to be addressed globally. This also includes deployment of new tools and services. So it is seen for librarians as something that should not overcharge them with extra work, but indeed it should solve issues. One of the problems, for example, is the management of research data, because there are a lot of tools out there and solutions, but we need to find an easy way for librarians to help and support researchers. And there is indeed a difference also from library to library, even in the same country. So a need to harmonize the work of librarians. Otherwise, the feeling is that libraries may become the bottleneck and data will be lost. So there are some examples of institutions that already have a path towards open access, for example, with an institutional repository and working group. But it's not easy for them to understand what EOSC is and what EOSC can do for them. Indeed, they think EOSC can facilitate the discoverability of their content at a global level. One other value for EOSC for research libraries may be the thing to push them into new roles and help librarians to support researchers in a different way. So we are thinking of the new roles of libraries within the EOSC. Then we were discussing about what is the input needed from these stakeholders towards of the EOSC. So the first thing is that, of course, libraries are seen as content providers, but they are also the ones that have a very strong relationship and link with the researchers. So for this particular aspect, they can work close to the user, to the main users of EOSC, and be their support and understand their need and translate them for EOSC. So in this context, of course, training is one of the main roles that we have seen for libraries. And in particular, as Eva was mentioning, the setting is the one of the long tail of science, because those are the people that work outside a structured research infrastructure or community. Then we discussed about how can these stakeholder groups be actively involved in EOSC activities and what do they need to get involved. So we think that the stakeholder forum, and in particular the way it was carried out this year, so an online and free way of accessing the stakeholder forum event was key, and we really enjoyed this way to discuss. So we discussed about the fact that we could have a kind of country level stakeholder forum, so a national stakeholder forum in each country, and also try to have to plan events at national level that can involve EOSC actors such as the country representatives, and also involve and also plan a specific event or a section or workshop on EOSC. This is because we need EOSC to be how to say, told to people in some easy way. I guess I said it all. Yes, so find new ways to engage stakeholders also that do not know much about EOSC yet. This is quite important. And also one other thing is that libraries have a central role to bring their knowledge into EOSC and the country, and this can be done through the competence centers that are now being designed both at a thematic level or regional and national level. So in there we also see that the libraries may be the link between the competence center and university, and to find a way to embed university in university curricula, the development of new skills in open science.
Emma, can you take one from the last slide too? Just one.
Sorry?
Yeah. Can you take one more from this last one?
Yeah, so this is the last one. So in here we discussed a feedback mechanism, and here we said about we discussed about national groups and national event, national users group, and again we said that the EOSC symposium was great, online and open. And one thing that we see is missing is a kind of guide, EOSC for dummies, for those that do not have still a clear idea of what EOSC is and are starting now to understand what EOSC is. I hope I did.
Yes.
I said it all.
Thank
Thanks.
you. So next I would like to ask group Neptune, and can you look at these or mention that only the things that have not been mentioned, that you have something additional to add?
Our rapporteur is gonna be Renata. I will help her and also Tiberius, but I mean, she will be.
Yes, okay, I cannot share the screen yet because I think somebody else is having it. No, yes, I think so. Okay, so. Yeah, so here we are. We were thinking, first of all, that this EOSC should be like, there should be much more a feeling of something being shared, yeah? So instead like of being another system to learn, it should like give the spaces to share and to make it like more a common, yeah, in this sense. For this, we were thinking that strong advocacy would be needed. Yeah, this is in another part. But yeah, for the value, we were thinking that this access and to the information and the opportunities for sharing and also like for searching for common solutions is really a key. Yeah. And there was also a part regarding the infrastructures, like joining together the forces with the infrastructural parts. And we were also thinking like somehow about the empowering of other stakeholders. So like building competencies that are relevant and are also like valued for the researchers, yeah, when they participate in open science. We were also thinking like about similar to what was said previously, like about different ways of promoting and of like sharing the information. So this was in the, I think in the next slide. Yeah, we have here like working groups, different trainings, formal partnerships, also libraries and infrastructures working together, creative cooperative resources. So the point was there about like this sharing, and we were also thinking about the improvement of the role of libraries and librarians. If this role, if it's already not considered very strong, if it could be improved. I think it is so, yeah, because like with this, there are new opportunities, and open cloud is always like something that can give like more prestige, yeah, to work with. And we were thinking about different feedback mechanisms, so like systems for different kind of requests and information sharing. For instance, like the new functionalities proposals, and then there should be some processes and the way of evaluating them and putting them into life. Yeah. Previously, I think there was also even a proposal for a journal for EOSC, and so I think EOSC should be what is like our conclusion. Yeah, that should be better explained and promoted. Once we have a common understanding, we could share our knowledge and information, but also like action, yeah, and better and search for the solutions together. Thank you. I don't know.
Thank you, Renata. That was great. So, and then can we move on to the last group? Who was your? I think it's Jupiter.
Yes. Can I ask Biljana to share the screen so that I
Yeah,
have access to my
Yeah.
notes? So we'll try to be brief. Well, we actually we focused more on the missing things, on the problems, on the spheres where communication is not so efficient. So we tried to identify those things, and especially it was probably because our environment in which we are working is a little bit less structured than the environments mentioned in the previous previous groups. So two basic topics related to all of the 4 questions were what is the role of libraries, who is in charge of doing what, and how libraries should be more recognized in this communication with EOSC, in EOSC promotion and infrastructure development. And the other main topic is how should we communicate ideas? How should we communicate between librarians and researchers and librarians and EOSC and among stakeholders in general? So these were the 2 main topics. And the third topic is actually training. What is the role of training? So actually we mentioned all the important things relating to EOSC about one single access point, a place where librarians should be happy. But actually, what is the problem in our countries is that librarians are not very familiar with EOSC, but also researchers are not very familiar with EOSC. Some disciplines are familiar with EOSC, the others are not. The other problem is that researchers are not aware that librarians could help them, so they don't ask for this help. So there is this problem with communication. Also, what we established as an optimistic thing is that researchers like the idea of open science. They do understand what open science is, even if they don't know what is the exact relationship between open science and EOSC. So this is a positive thing, and this is a good starting point to do further work. Also, what input is needed? One of the main topics was how to educate research funders, because they are those who push the things, who push researchers towards open science, at least in our countries. The role of research funders is great. So we discussed how to educate research funders, how to make their calls optimized, how to make them incentivize open science more. We also have some local differences in relating to the activity of librarians, the involvement of librarians. For example, in Croatia, librarians are very much involved in open science. In Serbia, they're not so much. These are individual initiatives, usually bottom-up initiatives. What inputs are needed from stakeholders? The third slide. Biljana made an observation that very much depends on how much librarians are ready to get involved. But we also highlighted the importance of soft skills, because these inputs should be understood by all stakeholders. So if we don't know how to communicate things relevant for EOSC to researchers, they may not understand what we are talking about. And the same applies to our communication with EOSC. So this is very important. And again, the importance of educating funders was once again highlighted. And how can we make these stakeholder groups actively involved? To training and skills, the idea of certified training was raised, and we also discussed who should be responsible for this training. And we also realized that actually the involvement of librarians in projects and their access to budgets and funds to transfer the ideas, to develop training are very important. As for the feedback mechanisms, once again, we discussed the soft skills and the communication skills, and we also highlighted that the library layer should be recognized. There should be separate help desk for researchers and librarians, and the librarians should have a more official role in this process, because this process is mostly directed towards researchers and what they need. So that's about all.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for the hard work and everything that you've done. So I take like 30 seconds to wrap up what you said, and you can correct me if I got something wrong. So all the groups, it seemed to me, you thought that training and skills are very important to all the groups of stakeholders or the stakeholder groups of the EOSC. So librarians, research, and everybody. So training and skills. Also, EOSC for Dummies. It seems that EOSC is still very complex and confusing to people. So studying, 101 of EOSC is still needed. The good or the value of the EOSC, as I understood from you, is the common solutions and tools. So this is what brings us all together, that the EOSC is capable of solving some of the problems that we maybe cannot be solving in the national level. And promotion, explanation, and communication are the keys when it comes to getting EOSC more openly available for the entire Europe. Also from the previous presentation that we had at the beginning, I picked up 2 sentences that I want you to take with you when you go home from this workshop today. First one was, make librarians important again. It sounds a little bit like a political slogan, but I liked it. And the other one was, librarians are the key in EOSC. So please go home with this one. And I thank you, everybody. I thank presenters. I thank the organizers. And I thank you all for the active participation. I hope it was useful for you. And I'm sorry for stealing 3 minutes of your time. Thank you. And see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Wonderful job.